Alright, in this video I'm going to compare these two drones, the Hubsan ZINO and the Fimi X8. I've done other comparison videos which included these drones, but these seem to be selling the most, so I wanted to do a quick, maybe not quick, but a good comparison of the two, so you can see is it worth paying the money for this or going with the cheaper Hubsan. So we'll go over a few things that are similar and differences, and we'll give you a conclusion at the end. There's definitely a size difference between the ZINO and the X8, but it's not too much. As you can see, the X8 is slightly larger than the ZINO, and it weighs a little more than the ZINO, and I'll put the weights here. Okay, here's the weight of the Fimi X8. 785 grams. Controller is 385 grams. The ZINO weighs in at 714 grams. The ZINO controller weighs 291 grams. But both of these drones are not very heavy. They're in the Mavic Pro range, so that's the size. The Hubsan comes with its own gimbal cover, and the X8 does not come with a gimbal cover, just a little piece of foam that goes over it. Okay, here's the Fimi X8. As you can see, it has an optical flow sensor and an ultrasonic sensor at the bottom, and nice metal plate for cooling, and 3-axis gimbal, and a modular battery, and no sensors on the front. The Hubsan ZINO also does not have any sensors. It doesn't even have any bottom sensors. It strictly uses GPS and barometer to maintain its position. And it does not have heat sinks. What it has are these little vents in there that pulls the air in and sends them out the vents, and that way it keeps it cool. The Fimi X8 is a very stable drone. It's kind of windy out here and it still maintains its position. It has ultrasonic and optical flow sensors at the bottom, so it does maintain its position fairly well. Okay, the ZINO does not have the optical flow or the ultrasonic sensor at the bottom, but it does do a fairly good job of maintaining its position. Even though it does not have those sensors, you can see it does dip down a little bit and come up a little bit, but overall, for not having those sensors and just using GPS, it maintains its position fairly well. With the Fimi X8, I'm able to go into sport mode and see that 43 miles an hour. I'm able to full sticks forward, push the drone out to around 40 miles an hour. And since I have the wind behind me, it's actually going faster than that. Okay, here's the speed of the ZINO, around 17.7 miles an hour, 18 miles an hour. And this is around the max you're going to get. And the normal and sport does not work on this. And I contacted Hubsan about it, and they did not enable a sport mode. They said it's safer for the drone to just stay in one mode. And I did have an issue with a Mavic Pro that I had before. I had it in sport mode and it was coming really fast, and I got a motor overload, and then suddenly it came crashing down to the ground. So that may be Hubsan's way of making sure that they don't have the motor overload. On a Fimi website, they have a range of 5,000 meters as a max range. I've had mine out to, as you can see here in this video, to about 8,200 feet, and it started to lose signal. But as you can see, I had some houses to the left of me and the right of me, a couple neighborhoods, so that Wi-Fi interference could have been a factor. But it did go out 8,000 feet, which is plenty because 1,500 feet is line of sight, the max that you'll be able to see this drone. So you're way past the limit of where you should be flying, so that 8,000 feet for me was really good. The ZINO has a max range of 1,000 meters. I've had it out that far. I've had it out as far as 3,600 feet. The Pro is supposed to have a 4-kilometer range, and I'll have a link for that coupon also, and it's on pre-order right now. But for now, the Zino itself, for the sub $250, has a max range of 1,000 meters. And again, that's plenty far because you're not going to see it at 1,000 meters. Probably around 700 meters, you'll start to lose it. So to fly line of sight and be safe and legal, you're supposed to fly line of sight. So that's plenty far. The Fimi X8 has a battery life of 33 minutes, and the Hubsan Zino, its battery life is 23 minutes. But this is all dependent on your conditions outside, how aggressive you fly, so you can realistically expect anywhere from 16 to 17 minutes if you're flying casually with the Zino, and somewhere around 25 minutes to 27 minutes with the Fimi X8. The X8 does have precision landing, although it doesn't always work, and it actually seldom works for me, but I like to hand catch anyway, so this is not a big deal. The Zino also has precision landing. What it does is it uses front-facing camera, and when it gets to about 50 feet, it turns its camera down, looks for the apron. Looks like it found it. So this portion of precision landing is very good for Hubsan. It seems to find the apron more often than the Fimi does. But if you watch the Hubsan come down, it gets to a certain point, and since it doesn't have the cameras at the bottom, it just goes ahead and says, I'm close enough, and just continues to come straight down. So if it's off the mark, it comes straight down and will miss the landing pad. Okay, here's the video quality of the X8 flying at around 10 miles an hour. And everything's set for auto, it's on 4K. And just showing you a video comparison. And next I'll have the Zino's footage. For the Fimi X8, you can get it anywhere from $409 to $449. And there aren't too many parts that you can buy for it. If you look on the Banggood website, pretty much all you can see is the batteries, and batteries are pretty expensive for this quad. If we look, the batteries here from $78 to $89, and the props are anywhere from $14 to $16. And there may be another accessory. Here's the charger. So there's not too many accessories for it, but if you look at the battery alone, it's already $80. And for the Zino, you can normally get it anywhere from $230 to $240. And the accessories are also cheaper. As you can see, the batteries for this are around $40. There are other accessories you can buy for this drone, and most of the parts you can buy. Here you can see a motor, some of the shell. A lot of the parts you can buy for this drone to repair it yourself that you can't buy for the Fimi. And here you see you can pre-order the Zino Pro for around $360, and I'm sure that price will start to drop later on. And you can use the same cheaper accessories as you can use for the regular Zino. Okay, so you can see there's a big cost difference between the Fimi X8 and the Zino. The Fimi X8 and Hubsan Zino are both great drones for their price range. This one's in the less than $250 price range. This one's in the $400 price range. If all you're looking for is a 4K drone that gets up in the air and goes a maximum of 3,000 feet, where you're supposed to legally fly probably less than 1,500 feet, because you're not going to be able to see the quad that far, then this drone would be for you. It's a basic 4K drone that has a stabilized gimbal and gets pretty good footage. This is a more advanced drone with the sensors at the bottom, but again, there are no sensors in the front, so there's no obstacle avoidance. But this is definitely a more powerful drone, and the battery lasts longer. So if this is what you're looking for, I would say it is worth the extra money. But if all you need is something like this, then go with the Zino. Both are good choices. Both of them are priced about right. So I hope this video helps you in determining what your next drone will be. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below and tell me what you think about either one of these drones and your experiences. And stay tuned for coupons and codes that I'll post videos for. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.